What's going on, everybody? Sean here. I'm hoping this is the first in a long series of short videos that are going to be released on this channel that are dedicated to the new and upcoming Middle-earth and Lord of the Rings Amazon show. If you're anything like me, you grew up with the Lord of the Rings movies, played the video games, you bought the merchandise, and they not only left a lasting impression on you, they set a new standard for what a fantasy action movie can and should be. These are books I read and movies I still watch with my friends to this day and will always be some of my all-time favorites. And I'm just one of the millions of voices screaming for more, even since the Hobbit trilogy last ended. So last November, when I heard that a new Lord of the Rings TV series will be released, I couldn't have been happier. There is so much material left from Tolkien's books. The movies barely scratched the surface. The show could cover stories and timelines from the Silmarillion to the history of the elves and what happened after the War of the Ring. There are so many great stories left to be told and so much potential to create what would be an awesome show. The thing is, we just don't know what the focus of this show is going to be yet. We have heard that an original TV series set in Middle-earth is in pre-production as of right now. But other than that, we still don't know much else about what part of development it's at. But this is what we do know so far. According to enemy.com, Amazon paid the Tolkien estate in trust $250 million just for the rights to create something new from Tolkien's work. This number does seem pretty high considering it's only the amount spent to legally make the new content, which according to the contract signed in November of 2017 has 2 years to begin releasing episodes. But the fact that the previous 6 films that won 21 Oscars and they got multiple films on IMDb's top 100 films of all time list, I think it's safe to say that this is probably one of the best investments Amazon could be making right now. According to my Google search, the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hobbit trilogy combined would make just over $5.8 billion worldwide in total box office sales. That's $5.8 billion with a capital B, and IMDb says that it's actually The Return of the King that brought in the most at the box office with just over $1.1 billion. And it's also fun to note that Return of the King had the lowest production budget of about $94 million. That's just pure profit right there. And that profit is not including the book sales, toys, merchandise, apparel, and video games that have all been made and have been making a lot of money as well. Now, not everyone is excited as I am about the idea of something new set in Middle-earth. Some people, including John Rhys-Davies, who played Gimli in the original Rings trilogy, have been cited as criticizing Amazon about their plan. And John Rhys-Davies said, "It's not about doing it better, it's about making more money. That's all. If they think they can make more money, then they will." And I think that's a good point. Do you think this is more of a money grab by Amazon or not? Hopefully an amazing team and cast are put together to create the best content possible for the audience. That's what I'm hoping for because I'm part of that audience and I definitely will be watching the show. However, I believe the move is primarily happening right now because Game of Thrones is coming to an end in 2019. Thrones was the biggest television series in the world for the better part of a decade, with the highest budget we have ever seen for a television series so far, and just showed how much success a fantasy action television series could potentially have, and that's not including Merlin, of course. The void that Game of Thrones will be leaving behind after the last season is just huge potential for studios to capitalize on the audience that fell in love with the story from George R.R. Martin. When Game of Thrones comes to an end, what's gonna take that place for that audience, the viewers that like that show so much? So Amazon Studios will produce the series in cooperation with the Tolkien Estate and Trust, book publishers, HarperCollins, and New Line Cinema. The studios will allocate a reported $1 billion budget for the show. That's gonna be the biggest in television history, and they said that they are committed to making 5 seasons of this new original series, which I think is a good starting point. Hopefully we like the show, first of all, and hopefully if it's successful enough, we're going to get more than just 5 seasons, or maybe they'll be in talks to be making like a spin-off series the way Game of Thrones is talking right now with the producers, to see if they're going to be able to make more seasons, just not focusing on the characters or storylines we already know, just set in the same world. So my question to you guys is, what do you want to see? Do you want to see the history and creation of Middle-earth from the beginning? Do you want to see a prequel to the Rings trilogy that maybe covers the Nazgul when they were still men and it follows their descent into darkness until they become the Ringwraiths? Or do you want to see a show focusing on characters that lots of us are already familiar with, like Beren and Luthien or Glorfindel? And I want to know if you guys like the idea of Peter Jackson becoming an executive producer for the show. Do you guys like the idea of actors returning to their roles, or maybe the idea of them making cameos? Because I like the idea of maybe Andy Serkis coming back in and maybe lending his vocal talents for maybe some characters, like he did for several characters in the original Rings trilogy, because he's an amazing actor. And I think it would be a mistake for Amazon to not even ask if he's interested in coming in and participating in making a new show. So which actors, writers, and or directors would you like to see involved in this new project? Please let me know by leaving a comment, and we can have an awesome discussion about everything that I just talked about. And give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and maybe I could make more EF videos like this one, and maybe some really awful puns just like that one. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.